I am WWF's longest reigning light heavyweight champion, Gilbert, and you are now somewhere in the ring.
The following podcast is scheduled for one recording with no time limit. Making their way down to somewhere in the ring, Andrew Sanford and Ryan Sprague.
How are you? How are you, Ryan?
I'm good. I am. Yeah, man. I'm coming fresh off of a NXT pay-per-view, an AEW pay-per-view that we did a mini review for. So my entire weekend was just jam-packed with amateur wrestling.
Amateur. Wow!
I kid.
How dare you speak about Obafemi that way? How dare you?
No,
I'm so excited for his main roster come up, especially because I feel like he just came out of nowhere. I think we are not shy about the fact that we don't watch a ton of NXT. I need to, but all of a sudden I was like, "Who is this person?" Like I would still catch names in the periphery, like Trick Williams and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I was like, "Who is Obafemi?" And then I saw him. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, there are some superstars in the making over there.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
My favorite women's wrestler of, I think, all time won the North American Championship this past weekend, Stephanie Vicor. So I'm super happy for her.
Yeah.
Dude, the talent there is just dripping.
And didn't she just sign with them? I mean, I know she was big elsewhere, but I kind of like that. It's so funny to me. By the way, this is Somewhere in the Ring. I'm Andrew Sanford. This is Ryan Sprague. This podcast where we talk about pro wrestling. It's funny to me that it is still kind of like their developmental brand, and yet they get these people like Stephanie Vicur and Jordynne Grace and Ricky Saints, as his new name has been revealed. Ricky Saints, a little nod to his Nollins upbringing would be my guess.
Okay, I wasn't sure why they went with that.
That would be my guy. That is a shot in the dark. I do think it's one of those very funny things where I get a little. We can just jump into it because we're later on in the episode. We're going to dream book some Elimination Chamber matches.
Yes,
I'm very excited about. Before that, we're talking about some news. Formerly Ricky Starks. I mean, that is his real name. Is Ricky Starks. It was taken off of AEW's page last Monday and was on NXT the next night, jumped right over, and then had his official contract signing Tuesday night, and they revealed that his name will be Ricky Saints. And usually, I feel like this is the first time in a while WWE has had to be like, we can't have you use the name that you were known for someplace else.
Yeah.
Like, I could be wrong, but I feel like that hasn't happened in a bit. And I think because he blew up so much on AEW, that they had to be like, we gotta shift, we gotta pivot, even though it's your real name.
Exactly. Well, and you and I discussed this recently. Like this, they haven't done this in a while. Where they, a lot of the times, the reason for the name change is often because they were either using it at another company, or like we've discussed, it's so that they own an IP of this individual, this persona, which will outlive the actual wrestler itself, in perpetuity. So, I mean, I get it, but
I don't like it.
I don't like it
too.
either.
I don't care for it. I think it's kind of lame. Who knows? Maybe it'll change because sometimes they do name changes when they move up from NXT. Gunter being the most notable example.
What was his name?
Walter. Like it was just different. And then they also gave him a name that it turned out was a real Nazi general. I think either in NXT or
Goebbels or something.
Oh yeah, it was Goebbels. Yep, that was it.
Werner von Braun.
Nobody.
Hey man, we would have no space program in the U.S. if it weren't for Werner.
Okay, okay, sure, all right. Oh boy,
what am I doing? What am I doing?
No.
That's getting cut too. I know. No. Controversy creates cash, baby.
But I do think that because people were comparing it, or people, Fightful, I saw compared it to Lex Luger showing up on Monday Night Nitro the week after he'd been on Raw. And while like the impact of that way at first was definitely significant, I think once you take away that AEW name, it kind of takes away some of the power of the acquisition.
Good
And
point.
hey, he's still a great wrestler. I think there's a long future ahead of him. I can't wait to see him and Punk are pals, and I want to see Punk be kind of like an elder statesman in a faction kind of a deal. I'm sure that'll happen at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that changing his name kind of lessened the blow a little bit for me.
Yeah, I get it. And there's been a lot of name stuff. I will also say before we get to the other news stories, at the Vengeance Day pay-per-view with NXT, PLE, whatever you want to call it, we had the debut, Andrew, of our good friend, Osiris Griffin.
Hey.
And a few of those other names. A few of those other
sure.
names, too.
Yeah.
As a new stable.
Because it looks like they're bringing back what the heck is it called? Because there was another
Shield, I think. 2.
Well, no, that because it was
No.
not Shield. It was something else. Because these guys were in. I feel like it was Mustafa Ali was the leader. It was like this was done a few years ago, like the same kind of group. And it does have a similar kind of thing to the Shield. Somebody brought up recently how. Or I was watching an interview with Seth Rollins. I had forgotten that the Shield were brought in as like Punk's backup at first, which is pretty cool. But it's clearly like WWE being like, these are the 4 that we think are going to be rad. So we're going to have them just wreak havoc on the show.
Heck of a debut.
So yeah, it's right. And to have them like first come out after the tag team match after Faxium, and then attack Faxium, and then later come out and like beat down Obafemi like that. I also really appreciated that it was felt real, felt like a real beatdown. They were all just kind of like kicking and punching him at once. It was visceral, and I mean, we'll see. I don't like the masks. I don't need everybody's faces covered. Get them like a unifying T-shirt or something like that. If you want them to have some, or even like Shield had their. What the heck was this? Bull Buchanan Big Boss Man outfits on. So like they can do stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see, man. But again, like it was an incredible weekend of wrestling. AEW killed it. It was a great show. Vengeance Day was A+ across the board. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about WWE today, our Dream Elimination Chamber match.
Was that it for news? There wasn't any.
No, wait. I've got more.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I don't know why I said we're done with NXT, because our first story has to do with NXT. So this story broke last night.
Yeah.
On NXT's televised event. The Hardy Boys returned to WWE. The No Quarter Catch Crew team of Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne called TNA World Tag Team Champions Matt and Jeff Hardy out for a title match on next week's NXT show in Cincinnati, Ohio. Man,
it's very cool.
I'm loving it.
It's very cool. I think this speaks to the partnership with TNA. Like, can you imagine even 5 or 6 years ago, TNA titles getting defended on a WWE show? Like, and I mean, look, I would love to be surprised. I doubt very much the Hardys will lose this match, but who knows? Who knows? I think if they want to start doing stuff like this, kick it off with a bang, maybe have them lose. But also, if they're just kind of showing up and doing their thing, it's just cool. It's very cool. It's exciting for wrestling. It's going to bring a lot of eyes to that show. And it's, speaking of elder statesmen, you have one of the best tag teams ever coming in to like at least put people over somehow. Like I think I'm excited to see more of a like Penta Chad Gable type situation where Penta won, but Chad Gable was not squashed or made to look like a fool by any stretch of the imagination or anything like that. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I would say Gable came out looking just as good, if not better, than Gunther
Yeah.
that night, because you could tell how much he was selling for him, how much he was putting him over. And
It's a
now
great
we've got this fun storyline where Gable's going off to learn the dark arts of the lucha libre. Dude, it's just I love wrestling so much. I
Yeah,
love
me
it.
too.
I
It's
love
pretty
it,
great.
buddy.
It's pretty silly, and they're doing a
Uh,
lot of silly stuff right now, and I'm just on board for it.
I'm on board. Well,
It's
that
very
actually
exciting.
that brings us to our next silly story. I'm gonna play a clip really quick here, 7 seconds long, I promise. And
Go ahead, have at it.
I wanna get your thoughts on this. Give this a watch.
Heavyweight champion, Gunther! Just step aside, little man, before something happens. Thank you.
So simple. So we just showed, if you're watching or if you're just listening to this, 2 clips. So I think it was 2 weeks ago now. Gunther threw his jacket into the crowd. He tried to hit Pat McAfee. McAfee ducked, hits a kid in the face, knocks him out cold, from what I've heard from the
Incredible.
rumors. That kid
Incredible.
hit the ground and didn't get up for like 3 minutes. So there's either a lawsuit or that kid has free tickets to WWE for the rest of his
Probably
life.
the latter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I've never sat ringside. I feel like there has to be some kind of disclaimer, but maybe not. I'm sure there's not like, it's not like a Gallagher style splash zone, but I'm sure there has to be something here. Hold on. Let me check this baby monitor. Somebody
Yeah,
talking?
of course.
Okay. They're talking, but nothing's wrong.
Okay.
They should be napping, but
They
anyway,
should be. They're talking
they
in their
should be
sleep.
napping. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I can't believe you brought up a Gallagher watermelon reference. I never thought I'd see the day.
Look, I could be wrong. I'm sure there's just kind of this. I'm sure there's all kinds of things you sign away when you buy WWE tickets, including your right to be used on screen, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or be knocked out. Yeah,
or be knocked out by Gunther's
what was
jacket.
it like? I think it was like a month ago now. Roxanne, there was a situation where Roxanne was getting carried into, like, she was in the audience. She started like going after someone at the barricade, and she literally knocked a fan over, like knocked a woman out of her seat. The woman tumbled. I don't think it was a work. So, I think things are getting more real, and I'm absolutely loving it. I feel like it's the ECW
I'm not against
days.
it.
But the reason I bring this up is I think they kind of leaned into it this past week on Monday Night Raw, where Gunther came down and sort of parodied Jey Uso's entrance from the audience with the yeet and all this.
Right.
And this kid had to be about 7-8 years old. He's yelling at Gunther, and Gunther literally says to him, step aside, kid, or something's going to happen to you. So I hope they keep going with this. I hope they keep, because it's just making me hate and love him even more. And
he's a great.
Making me look forward to this match.
Yeah, the road to WrestleMania between those two. It's crazy to think. I mean, right now it is the only WrestleMania match that's set, to my knowledge, unless Charlotte Flair picks the challenger.
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that.
I don't believe she did.
Oh, you know what? She did. Yep, Charlotte Flair will be facing Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. She made her official decision. Yes.
Hey! Look. That one's very exciting as well. That's very
that is
exciting.
Happening. I forgot that happened.
It's exciting for Tiffany Stratton to be able to wrestle for the title against someone who inspired her to get into wrestling. That's very, very cool. And it's also very it makes me excited for, like, both of those challengers being picked makes the potential for the other big names, pardon me, very exciting. Like, I don't know who's going to face Cody Rhodes. My guess is John Cena, but we'll see. I don't know what those other people are going to do. I'm sure they will be exciting. I am excited about Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. I think that'll be a great match. But Jey Uso against Gunther is already, like, I would be hard pressed to see how they beat that. I'm glad that they're taking their time. I'm glad that they're going to, like, drag it out, for lack of a, I don't mean that in a derogative term. Like, I think that they are going to just give it its due and take their time. And when Jey Uso wins, it is going to blow the roof off that building in Vegas.
Absolutely. I think it'll be the highlight of the weekend. to be honest.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think so too. Yeah.
you know, a lot of people are saying like this isn't gonna be WrestleMania 40. It's not shaping up to be the best WrestleMania of all time. And I want to be like, guys, first of all, like, how do you top WrestleMania 40 when you had The Rock return, when you had Cody finally finishing his story? Like, every WrestleMania can't top the last. It's just not. You hope for it, but
Sure. Counter to that, though,
yeah,
if I
please,
may,
please.
I think the way you counter it is focusing on the future. I think while I loved WrestleMania 40, that almost felt like tying up threads of the past, finishing a story, bringing back The Rock, having The Undertaker show up, all that. It was very steeped in nostalgia. And a lot of that was fun. We both said I had a blast with that match. I had a blast with that event. It was good times. I think this next one is going to be about making these new stars. It's going to be about Tiffany Stratton taking out Charlotte Flair, or Charlotte Flair putting her over. It's going to be about turning main event Jey Uso truly into main event Jey Uso. I think that there's still going to be the Cena of it all, but I wouldn't be surprised if like Cena against Cody Rhodes, which is my guess is for what's going to happen with that title, kicks off one of the nights.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I think the main event for the first night would probably be, if it happens, the Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns match, and then the next night, Jey Uso against Gunther. You can't not have it be the main event.
Agreed. Absolutely. I think it's building that way. The momentum's there. And
who do you think Rhea Ripley's going to go against?
I'm looking at. I'm hoping, I should say, Io Sky.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think they're teasing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get it prior to that. I mean, there's still a long way till WrestleMania.
Well, and I was about to say Io Sky. Well, she'd have to win the Chamber match, right? Do we know? Is there a full? Has that match been filled out as well? Might as well say that now. Hey, look at that! Look at that! You
know, I got you, buddy. Yep,
it's
we
perfect.
have our
so she's not in the match.
She's not. No.
Oh.
No. So, it'll be interesting. You know,
I'm still pulling for Bianca Belair then. I really thought they were building towards Io Sky. Oh wait, no. She's facing Io Sky at Elimination Chamber.
That's what I thought. Has that been made official yet?
I'm like 90% positive. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think it would be a good start to the program. Yeah, like started at Elimination Chamber, and then maybe, dude, I hate to say it, but maybe Io wins at WrestleMania. Like, I love Rhea Ripley. I've been a Rhea Ripley fan for a while now. We'll continue to support her, but she hasn't done much recently.
Yeah, they kind of clipped her wings a little bit. I part of that was I know she was injured a little bit. They have like an embarrassment of riches right now as far as both rosters are concerned. But yeah, I would agree with that. She's lost a little steam because they also dragged out the Liv Morgan stuff for too long.
Oh God!
That took too long. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see where she lands after Chamber. But look at these two matches.
Okay.
Holy cow!
Let me name them for those listening. Men's Elimination Chamber match officially will be CM Punk versus John Cena versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul versus Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. And then for the Women's Chamber, we have Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Bayley, and Roxanne Perez. So, Andrew, who do you want from each?
I want Cena. I want Cena for the men's match. I think it just makes sense. I know I said he was going to take a lot of L's this year, but like with this match set up, I don't see anyone else facing Cody Rhodes and having it be as impactful, and that includes CM Punk.
100%.
And that's not. Yep. Like I don't think we would get much out of a Punk Rhodes match. I think Cena and Rhodes would be very interesting and try kind of toe the line between like who people like, which could be very fun.
Yep.
Women's match, Bianca Belair. I just think that it comes out of a pure desire to see her against Rhea Ripley. I think while WrestleMania is a great time for feuds, what I love about WrestleMania is that sometimes the fact that two people are facing each other at WrestleMania is all the bump that you need. You don't need anything else going into it. You can just have two of the best competitors going at one another, and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley are right at the top for me. So to see them go toe to toe would be pretty fantastic. And you don't need a ton of build up. They'd have over a month to get that program together, get the feud going whichever way they want it. But yeah, Bianca Belair. What about you?
Man, I'm gonna have. It's hard. I mean,
I want Damian Priest to get a bigger shot. I am so over on Drew McIntyre right now. I think he's great. The Logan Paul of it all is obnoxious, but I think he's a perfect person to be in this match.
Agreed. I get it.
It just is what it is. It is what it is. We can't. He's there now. Like, we can ignore him as much as we want, but he exists. He sucks as a person. But you know, all this is they're using him well, even if he can't handle it.
Yeah.
And then Seth Rollins and CM Punk, like, that's both. They're both, what they have going on between them is bigger than a title. Right. And adding Roman Reigns into that mix, I think, would only sweeten the deal. I did see rumors that people think Logan Paul would go up against CM Punk at WrestleMania. That I would not care for. If he got added in and it was like a 4-way match instead of a 3-way match, that could be fun.
Yeah.
But I kind of, if anything, I'd rather see him like go back up against like Rey Mysterio or something like that, even though it looks like they're setting him up against New Day. Who knows? My personal bias is keeping me from wanting Logan Paul in any of these.
You and
but I do think
200 million other people.
Yeah, dude. But I do think he'll be a good fit for this chamber match, just because he's the only one of these 6 people that the audience can truly detest. Like, he is they're trying to make Seth Rollins a heel, but it's a heel that people like. Same with Drew McIntyre. So
yeah,
you need that person that people can't stand.
Logan he'll provide some highlights, whether it's getting the crap beat out of him or some crazy stunt. I never wish injury upon anyone, obviously, but if it's gonna be somebody, anyways, I would have to agree with you. I think we're both going for Cena for the men, and I'm gonna say it too. Bianca seems to be the only not the only worthy one, but the one who
I know
has
what you mean.
the most to gain from this. So I'm with you, buddy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think she deserves that top spot. Ooh, LFG.
So we
Legends and Future Greats. Just call it Let's Can Go. Just call it the thing that you want to call it.
Well, and I know it's a fun play on words, but dude, they said let's effing go like 10 times in the episode. So I'm like, come on, guys. Anyways, Legends and Future Greats premiered this past week. I had an opportunity to watch the first episode. So for those who don't know, this is a new quote, I'm using air quotes, unscripted competition show WWE is doing to find the next person who will get a contract to NXT. These are people who have been
Booker T not wearing socks.
I don't think he is.
Yeah,
that is classy. Dude.
That's a brave man. That's a brave man.
I can't do it.
Sorry,
me either. Especially in Florida. Can you imagine?
Oh boy.
So basically, it's a competition show where every week they'll, work on their promos, work on their ring psychology, their athleticism, everything. Yeah. And you've got these 4 judges. You got Bully Ray, you got Mickey James, you got the Undertaker, and Booker T, all Hall of Famers, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, the only one I'm not positive on is Mickey James, but I think she is. Bully Ray's in there as the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, Booker T's in there with Harlem Heat. Yeah, and Taker's in there. Yeah.
So it's interesting, dude. It's kind of set up like The Voice, where
I was about to ask.
Yeah, each wrestler gets like a team or something, like 2 wrestlers to work with, and then every week, someone gets kind of bumped. Or they get a point, something like that. I'd have to go back and look at the rules. And then by the end of the show, someone's going to win a contract. Now, I don't know if that's both men and women or just one wrestler. But I mean, It was entertaining. I will say it's pretty contrived. It's very scripted. But you know, what would you expect from WWE?
I will say that BJ Ray clip that's going around looked pretty
was
great.
rough.
I was kind of glad that Bubba just kind of shut him down. It was really interesting.
Do you agree with Bubba, like the way he is like, I'm not shaking anyone's hand. I'm not here to make friends. Do you agree with how he handled that?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't at the end of the day, there's like some old school stuff about wrestling that I understand. And I remember I worked for a company where when I quit, I said I had a boss that would leave finished drunken plastic wine cups on my desk around noon, because he was that kind of guy. He was dusting them off before noon so he could go in his office and have Fox News blare as loud as possible. And I remember saying when I quit that there was a lack of respect. And I remember the guy was just like, yeah, well, the feckless hiring person was like, oh, well, yeah, but you got to like earn respect. And I was like, no. The earned respect, which is what I think Bubba is going for, I get. There is the basic human respect that I was not getting, that I think that BJ Ray is misunderstanding that personally. I do think that it's like they are there to impress people. And if somebody doesn't shake your hand with, nobody else is shaking anybody's hand.
Right.
Nobody else. Like, I think it also kind of speaks to like the attitude that the dude had. And again, I saw this 1.5-minute clip, but it kind of spoke volumes about who this person probably is.
There's nothing else to know about this guy.
He better be a real good worker. That's all I'm gonna say. Like that was one of those things where, and I think I saw Booker T talking about that, where it's like, look, I saw Taker was talking about it. Bubba Ray, like they've all kind of talked about it outside of the show, with Bubba Ray saying that he looks forward to the guy being a jobber in the future, which I thought was pretty great. And that's no knock against jobbers. You need enhancement talent, but it was kind of funny to be like, yeah, I got a jobber right here. I think that guy probably thinks he was doing something clever or something that he needs to do. And what I find interesting about that is that I just think he took it a step too far and misunderstood the no shaking the hands thing.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a huge deal, and I think he made it a huge deal with some real piss poor mic skills too. I was like, man, you got nothing. You're trying to take a shot at this guy and you can't even like speak with confidence.
No, they ate him for breakfast, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It was interesting. I'm gonna keep watching the show. I'm a sucker for competition.
I might start watching it, to be honest with you. What's it on? Is it on Netflix?
No.
Or is it on A&E?
It's on A&E.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I honestly too, looking at these four, this is the kind of Undertaker I want to see. I don't need to see him hobnobbing with the president and stuff. I want to see. But I like him in this kind of role. Like, I do appreciate... It's The Undertaker. Yeah. It's Mark Calloway. It's one of the best professional wrestlers to ever wrestle. And he is... All four of them are so good. Booker T should be a way bigger deal than he was allowed to be. Mickey James is incredible in the ring. Bubba Ray Dudley is Bubba Ray. Like there's something really exciting about just watching the four of them and being like, yeah, these are the people that are going to coach you. Mm-hmm. So I think that's very exciting. This is definitely one of those things where I was like, I like this. I like this version of no kayfabe.
They are damn lucky. Every single person who gets to train with these four is going somewhere, or can at least say they tried and have been coached by a WWE Hall of Famer.
And I mean, look, it is, but I will say, like, I don't know about it's always, where's Maven? You know what I mean? I think you go down the list of like the biggest one, and he didn't even win, was like The Miz.
Yep.
And I think The Miz also deserves like all of the praise heaped upon him possible. But yeah, so that's very exciting. I'm going to check it out, honestly. I'll probably watch the first episode at some point before the next.
Please do. I
Yeah.
want to gab with you about it on the show.
Sweet.
That's for sure. Just a couple more matches that have been announced for Elimination Chamber. We have a what do they call it? An unsanctioned match.
Excellent.
Between
I love
Sami
that
Zayn and
nonsense.
Kevin Owens.
I love that. That is the dumbest. It's unsanctioned, but there's a
a promo card for it.
Promo card. Oh, so silly. So silly.
Turn the lights off. We are not responsible for what happens with this.
I know. Can't even
But
believe we're giving
also-
these guys ring time.
Stream exclusively on Peacock in the
Yeah,
US and Netflix internationally.
Pretty great.
It's gonna
So
be
silly.
awesome. I'm
Oh,
excited to see
yeah.
whatever it turns out.
I'm
to be.
surprised they're not holding it until WrestleMania, but
I know.
maybe it'll keep going after the fact.
Agreed, buddy. And then this was just announced. We're gonna have a match
Ooh.
with Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton taking on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. This took place this past Friday on SmackDown.
Rad.
It was announced. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. You've got Trish. It's going to be in Toronto. It makes sense. You got Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens from Canada. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this match too. Tiffany Stratton said that Trish was one of her heroes, so that'll be really cool to see her team up with one of her heroes and then eventually face one of her heroes at WrestleMania. So,
yeah,
super cool.
Pretty awesome.
Super cool.
Pretty awesome. They're clearly very high on her. Who again is 25 years old. Tiffany Stratton is 25 years old. Actually, you know what? I said that so confidently. I now need to look it up just to make sure. But I'm like 90% positive. I can't think of the last wrestler that they were this high on when they were so young.
Agreed.
Tiffany Stratton, born in 1999. So sorry, she'll be 26 in May.
Oh,
She'll be 25 when she wrestles WrestleMania.
What a difference!
Incredible, really incredible.
I don't even remember what I was doing at age 26. I couldn't even tell you. Yeah. Was I even in New York City at the time? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think you had to have been.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyways, all right. Should we do it?
Let's dream book. Let's dream book, baby.
So we're not a show that usually fantasy books on the show. We'll text each other. We'll have fun.
Yeah.
But we decided this week we're doing it. We're leaning in. We're going to fantasy book our dream Elimination Chamber matches. There were some stipulations. We decided to do men and women, and then past and present. So this could be any era, any generation. Doesn't have to be current wrestlers. And that's when it got super fun for me. And I got anxious, man. Like I was I got super anxious because I kept like bumping someone out, putting someone in, and I'm sitting there being like, why am I can't believe I'm thinking this hard about this.
I know. I had to be hard. It's because we don't do that this often. I mean, I think we'll have to do it more. Honestly, it's also the Elimination Chamber is kind of a perfect match to do it for.
Agreed.
Honestly. So let's start with the women's chamber.
All right, women's chamber. Who do you want to go? Do you want me to go?
Have at it. Go ahead.
Okay.
And then I'll go first for men's.
So basically what I did is I picked my wrestlers and then I gave like a one sentence about why I wanted them. So I'll breeze through these quick. My first entrant I want is Bianca Belair.
Excellent.
Yep. She'd hit all the fan favorites, take some big risks and have fun while doing it. That's why I want her in it. Next up on my list, I had Io Sky. I want to bring her in for the highlight reel moments. High flying genius of the sky. She'll be hopping off the cage, off the pods, doing all this crazy stuff.
Yep.
And I just love her kinetic energy. So I want her, and then I want her to square up with Bull Nakano. You remember Bull Nakano, Andrew?
What's funny is she was almost on my list. She was almost on my list.
Okay. See, we didn't share these with each other beforehand on purpose. It's two women coming up through Japan wrestling, making a huge impact for both women and Japanese wrestlers in America. I thought it'd be super cool to have like a Japanese Hall of Famer and a up and coming like superstar. I mean, she
Sure.
is a superstar.
Sure.
She's not
Yeah.
up-
I know. Yeah.
Just having these two go up against each other, stretching generations, I think it'd be super, super cool. And they have such different styles. So I wanted to see them square off. And then my fifth is Molly Holly, who I
Yeah.
want in
Hey,
my
good pick.
match.
Let's
Molly,
go.
she's going to bring the most technical, straightforward grappling, wrestling, and holds to the match, and some levity, which I think is needed sometimes. And she's
Sure.
just so unbelievably reliable, just like Bianca Belair is. So I'd love to see them go up against one another. And then who else do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have, of course, Stephanie Vacor, my favorite
Sure.
wrestler right now. I
Mhm.
think she would just stare everyone down and just wait and wait and then just attack. That's what she does. And I think that'd be awesome. And then my last wrestler that I want in my match, Andrew, is China.
Hey, another one that I was close. We almost had two similar picks. That's so funny.
Skin of our teeth. That's funny.
Yeah.
I could honestly, I could see her also sitting back and just watching, waiting to have her moment with Stephanie Vacor. And in one explosion, she would just take out each woman, pin them, square up with Vacor. And this is where it gets brutal, bloody, and China would teach her what real attitude is and come out on top. I got China as my winner of the Elimination Chamber.
Okay. I love that. All right. First, foremost, Trish Stratus, one of my favorite female wrestlers of all time. She's fantastic. She'll be showing up in Toronto. There's something about, I'm always impressed with, like, she was a model that just became one of the most proficient in-ring wrestlers with to my knowledge, no real experience before that. And I just think she's incredible. And she's gotten better over the years. And whenever she shows back up, there's like no ring rust on her. It's really incredible. So I would have her in there to just bring like a steady presence like that. You know what I mean? Next up, Luna Vachon.
Oh, I almost picked Luna. Yep. She was one I bumped, unfortunately.
Because that I think with Luna, you need somebody like kind of crazy and unpredictable. You need a wild card.
Yes.
And I know that there were some issues with her in real life for being a bit of a wild card. But I want Luna in there. Just I always love the idea is the chamber's great anyway, but being locked in when you're locked in like a small contained area with a character like that is always fun.
Oh yeah.
Asuka.
I
nothing else really needs to be said aside from again being incredibly proficient and wonderful and one of the best wrestlers on either roster currently.
I miss her so much, man.
Yeah, I know. Victoria was a real favorite of mine growing up.
Okay,
I tried to go across as many eras as I can, and Victoria was somebody who was really like kicking ass at a time when female wrestlers were not being as respected as they should and are now. And she managed to kind of like rise above that in a lot of ways. Some things you got to be subject to anyway, but she's a good brawler and a good wrestler, and I want to see her in there just really beating folks up.
Good choice.
Chelsea Green is my number 5.
Yes,
you need that heel. You need that person that's gonna. I could see her getting knocked off the top of one of the chambers. Like she is somebody who has put her body on the line so well since she's molded into this kind of heel persona, and I want more of it.
Can I say something, Andrew? I'm so happy you chose her because I cannot for the life of me imagine why she is not going to be in the Elimination Chamber. You have a Canadian right now who is acting like an American, is God bless the USA. I'm the US champion. Can you imagine going to a Canadian show right now? We all know what's going on in the world. We know, they're booing the national anthem in Canada, which I am all for. Please continue booing.
Keep doing it. Way to go, Canada.
We love seeing it. We deserve it.
Especially your Canadian crowd.
Exactly.
So give us your booze. Sorry. Keep going.
But dude,
awful.
She's already a heel. Could you imagine if she went to her hometown and had like an American flag and was just
Well,
oh
I think also though, like my guess is she'd probably have a title defense that night. I know we're only a week and a half out, but I
it
get
could
that.
still
I
be
also
nice.
see.
Yeah.
I could picture them seeing that as too much heat that they wouldn't want.
That's a good point. That's real heat on the
Yeah,
company.
I could be. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I get
Sorry
that.
to
No,
digress
it's
there.
okay.
Please go back to your
And
your
my
choice.
last entry was Jacqueline.
Oh my god,
Jacqueline.
yes. Awesome.
Yes, like one of the for like I was just reading an interview with her the other day talking about when she got to wrestle or beat Chavo Guerrero for the cruiserweight title. Like
Yep.
she's a pioneer. She's one of the best to ever do it, and also somebody that really looks like she could just beat anyone up. So not only is she my sixth entrant, she would be my winner as well, just to kind
She's
of
your winner.
yeah, put some respect on that name. Get her back in there. Get her back in the forefront. It's crazy to me that she hasn't been in any of the video games in a long time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I think she is in the Hall of Fame at this point, but I still like she needs more respect on her name. So that's why
Yeah.
I got Jacqueline in there.
Hey, maybe we'll see her show up on LFG or something. That'd be pretty interesting.
That'd be great. I think she used to coach
Yeah.
or used to be part of their developmental territory, but maybe she's moved on. Maybe she doesn't want any part of it, but I don't think
That's
so.
a good point. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Should we move to our men's elimination chamber?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. First up, I've got someone who's going to be making his return to NXT next week. That is Jeff Hardy. Is my first choice.
Good choice. Okay.
Just to see the entrance, just to see the the whole thing. And again, like you need like an EOS guy. You need a high flyer who's going to be jumping off of stuff, doing stuff off of the cage. And I think he's just perfect for it. Yeah, I think like literally, if this were to happen tomorrow, I think he could still do it. Like get in that chamber and do it. Not just fantasy booking.
No.
My next one I have is Shelton Benjamin. Didn't know much about him before you introduced me to his work, and to see him back in AEW has been really exciting and everything. But dude, you need that fast-paced, powerful kind of actual wrestler. So he was my second pick. And then we moved to Dean Malenko, actually.
I almost had Dean Malenko on mine. Yes, I did. I'm dead serious. Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we are working in symbiosis here. I love it. Dean Malenko, old school technical wrestling with some good holds thrown in for good measure. That's why I want him in there. Here's my true underdog pick, Javon Evans.
Hey, cool. I love that. Yes.
Fell in love with this guy when I watched Vengeance Day this past weekend. Oh my God. Speaking of like young, I think he's 20. I think he just turned 20.
Yeah, he's
21.
very young. Yeah.
Oh, he just impressed the hell out of me. I could watch him go for like half an hour. Fast, energetic, athletic, would run circles around the rest of these guys. So I want him in there.
I mean, you got a pretty energetic group so far, but yeah, keep going.
There's not going to be a moment to breathe in my chamber.
Oh.
So I'm telling you. Next up, Bronson Reed. He is just right now, he is home recovering from an injury. Can you imagine like that pent up frustration? The first thing he does is come back in an elimination chamber.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Changer. I don't know what an elimination changer is.
Same thing.
Yeah. Same thing. And you need a big guy who's just going to go in, destroy, especially coming off of the injury. I think he's going to be hungry. So I want him. And to kind of, I guess, face that equal intensity, my last person I want is Jacob Fatu.
Hey, wow, you went really current. I appreciate that.
I did. I think the oldest one I had was Dean Malenko.
Yeah, honestly.
I was really going to try to.
You can pick a Jeff Hardy from a different era, an early
That's
2000s
true.
Jeff Hardy.
I was digging, man, and I'm like, I could go classic, I could go like Golden Age and all that, but I don't know. This just ended up being what I picked, and I will tell you, I thought way too hard about this. Kept me up last night till like 4 a.m. and then pacing my apartment, smoking a cigarette, thinking about jumping out the window and just ending it all so that I didn't have to choose.
Oh man.
By the
you
way,
and
I
I
have
have
Jacob Fatu winning.
Oh, excellent. You and I have been
Yeah.
friends long enough to have like a cool, we're going to smoke cigarettes while somebody takes pictures of us photo shoot. I
That's
don't know
happening.
if you remember that. Yeah, no, that happened
When?
like
That did happen?
13 years ago. Yes.
I do.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
recalling
yeah.
that
We don't
now.
need, yep. Yeah, we don't need
Please
to get
don't
into
say
it though.
13 years ago. Please don't say 13 years
Sorry.
ago. Yeah, that happened.
Oh,
Anyways, let's move on to yours, buddy.
okay, first one because I just want to get this out. No, actually, you know what the first one I'm going to say? I'm going to pivot. Bronson Reed is in mine. That's
Okay.
the only one where we double up, and for pretty much the same reasons. I
Yep.
was like, look, I don't think they're going to get him to jump off that chamber like he did at War Games and break his ankles.
Sorry, I don't know what
Is
that was.
Jay?
Jay? Is he
Jay
here?
here?
Might be Gunther. I don't know.
So I want Bronson Reed for the same reason. I want him busting out of that chamber. Like I want him breaking through that glass. Like I want that kind of stuff. But I agree. You need a big guy.
Good point. No glass break. I didn't even think about that. We need someone to shatter.
Oh, you
shatter
got.
that
I want him
plexiglass.
like. I would want him to just shatter that plexiglass. I want him to just kick that door down.
Yep.
Next up, Mankind. Like
Of course.
specifically the brown outfit version of like the crazy kind of unhinged early Mankind getting locked in there, like just kind of banging up against the cell, not feeling comfortable. And again, to have like a bit of a wild card in there.
It's so funny you say that. Like, in my mind, the entire time, I was just seeing his mask, like just haunting me behind me, like pick me, and I didn't do it. I don't know why, but
I almost went Cactus Jack too, but I was like, nah, we need even more of a wild card that you just don't know what's going to happen. Billy Gunn, specifically like early 2000s Billy Gunn, when he was like when they were toying with giving him a world title shot. I loved. There are 3 people on this list that were like, when I was playing WrestleMania 2000, I was like, oh, if only these guys could get more of a shot. One of them I had to create though, and Billy Gunn, just an incredible athlete. I miss him doing still going, looks incredible at 60. I miss him doing the like famouser off the turnbuckle, like which Cena kind of adapted or adopted. I love Billy Gunn. He was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, and I would love to see like him in his prime in a match like this. Eddie Guerrero is another one, specifically like Radicals era, like fresh out of WCW. Eddie Guerrero. I get like the line. I had to look first because I was like, surely he had been alive long enough to be in an elimination chamber, but that was not the case. So
really,
yeah. Unless I missed something, somebody please feel free to correct me. But so I wanted to see Eddie Guerrero in there lying, cheating, stealing, and just bringing again some high energy there. But I wouldn't want him doing a frog splash off of the top of the chamber, like one of the chambers, and I'll explain why soon.
Okay.
Number 5, DDP.
Oh, all right.
I was just trying to think outside the box with this one. I want DDP in there. I want that diamond cutter. I think you were doing something else with your hands. We'll let
Was
other
it
people.
this?
No, that's what he does. You were doing. It doesn't matter what you were doing.
Okay.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again.
That went over my head. You're gonna have to explain it to me later.
Yeah. But I love DDP. I love his energy. I love prime DDP with the curls. I also love what DDP has done for wrestlers with his yoga, like in getting people healthy. So my man deserves a shot. But number 1, who I would have win the match, and I would have do his fantastic frog splash off one of the top of those chambers, but we wouldn't call it a frog splash. We would call it the lowdown, is my man D'Lo Brown.
You're looking at the real deal now.
Yes.
Gonna kick this sorry ass out on the street.
Thank you. Thank you for having that ready to go.
I swear I didn't even know you were going to pick him. I swear. I just had a feeling. I had a feeling.
You didn't know. That's true. I didn't tell you ahead of time. You just had that music perfectly queued up. I love D'Lo Brown. I had to make Eddie Guerrero in the WrestleMania 2000 game because he wasn't in WWE yet, but I used to have him and Billy Gunn and D'Lo Brown fighting over that European title. Oh, by the way, this would be for the European title.
Okay.
and I would have D'Lo Brown win and walk out and emerge victorious.
Well,
Um,
that is a wonderful choice, and I should say you made me drop my phone laughing because we had talked about doing this fantasy booking, and you told me that if you had your choice, you would have 6 D'Lo Browns, Andrew.
6
So I
D'Lo
have a
Browns.
present
Yep.
for you. This is why I was up till 4 in the morning.
Oh my goodness! Look at that handsome man. Oh, that's great.
Isn't he just so
That's
handsome?
fantastic.
And
That's fantastic.
and only one of them is actually somewhat problematic. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Do we want to talk about which one? I
Ah, we're
miss
good.
his. There was a while where he was with Chaz, with Mosh of Mosh and
Yep.
Thrasher, I believe.
Yep.
And they just wore track pants. That
Yeah.
was their outfit. They wore matching track pants.
I
For
mean, it
whatever
doesn't get
reason.
much better.
But they would
and simpler
do.
than that.
I want to say Teddy Long was their manager for a little bit too. But they would do. They had one of my favorite. D'Lo Brown would hit the low down while Chaz was hitting a leg drop. Like they would hit it at the same time on somebody.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. D'Lo. That's
D'Lo
great.
Brown, baby.
I love that so much.
If you're just listening to this, I put 6 versions of D'Lo Brown.
Yes,
He's
you
such
did.
a versatile performer.
And yet somehow the most menacing one is the one of him without facial hair. I really, I don't think I've ever seen him clean shaven before.
Oh man,
D'Lo, put him back in the
Love him.
games, WWE. He's not going to be in the new one. I'm probably not going to get the new one anyway. I can only buy them so many years in a row. But
Oh, I thought you were boycotting it because he wasn't going to be in it.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
So thank you for clarifying. Yep. But yeah, those are our fantasy bookings, man.
That was fun.
Again, look, if people have suggestions of more things they would like us to fantasy book, if you liked this, let us know and we can work this into another episode.
Yes, absolutely. I should mention really quick, we did have some of our Facebook group members.
Oh, yes.
Do you mind if I read those really quick?
No, have at it. Have at it.
All right. I just remembered. I totally forgot that we did this. So we put up on our Facebook, who would you guys want in your Elimination Chambers? Brian Whitmore said for the men,
Brian.
Bret Hart, Owen, love him. Brian killing it over on the Facebook group. Bret Hart, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Undertaker from Summer '97. He was very specific.
Okay, cool. I love that. I love
that. Was a good one.
Half of it is the Hart Foundation.
I know, right? He really likes that Hart Foundation. Got to get Natalia in there somehow.
I appreciate that.
All right. Next up, we have Nathaniel Wright. Shout out to Nathaniel. As
Nate.
always, love you, Nate, buddy. He did both. He did men's. He's got Stone Cold Steve Austin, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Kurt Angle, and Taz. What a choice.
I want to watch Nate's match. I don't care about mine anymore.
I know, right? This whole episode was for nothing. We should have just gotten Nate on here. That's awesome.
Cold against Taz, too. Like, did that ever happen? I don't think it did. Cool. Maybe it happened when he was in ECW. Either way, Nate, killing it, bud. Well
killing
done.
it, man. For his women's elimination chamber, he's got Asuka, Jordan Grace, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Thunder Rosa, and Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong. A+. Nate. Oof.
Great work. Great
brother.
work.
Yeah.
And perhaps my favorite of our Facebook group members. Everyone JBL has bullied over the years, plus him. Have fun, boys.
Who said that one?
That was Bruce Pretty. Thank you, Bruce.
Bruce, thanks. Bruce. That's amazing. A lot of fun.
And David
I don't think they would be able to fit that many people into the chamber, but
that's what David said. He said we're going to need a bigger chamber.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Dude.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Love when you guys contribute to the episodes. We truly do appreciate it. Man, this was so much fun.
So fun. Again, we'll do this again, especially since we're like working on getting some more guests on the show. In the meantime, post on our Facebook page. Let us know, what do you want us to fantasy book? What would be fun? What can we look at? What can we go at before? I mean, we'll try to start doing, like, maybe we'll start doing these when, like, I would love to do one for a Money in the Bank when Money in the Bank comes up.
Right.
Things like that. So
yeah,
we will definitely do more of this. But yeah, Ryan, Bud,
Yeah.
I love you. Great work, man. It's
Yeah,
good.
you
It's good
too.
talking to you as always.
Super fun. I should not have to think that hard on doing a wrestling podcast, but I will tell you,
But we're
man,
just having fun. We're
it
taking
was
it seriously.
yeah,
That's how much
exactly.
we care about you people.
We care, and we
Um,
care about Elimination Chamber coming Saturday, March
Boom.
1st.
Can't
So be
wait.
on the
Can't
lookout
wait.
for that,
And then
guys.
Conan hosting the Oscars the next night. It's going to be a good weekend for me.
Ah,
Very much
that is
looking
a
forward to it. Yeah.
that is a weekend right there. What do you got coming up, buddy? Anything?
Look, if you're in New York City, I'll be in a staged reading of a play this Sunday at the Rat, which is really fun and it's free. And it's a fun new play by a really excellent writer named Jason Blanche. And you get to hear my Massachusetts accent if you go. I'll be saying things like weird and things of that nature. So, yeah, come on out. If you're around, as always, Chemistry Test on YouTube, Pay the Tithe on Vimeo. And hopefully more stuff down the pipeline. And go to patreon.com/somewhere in the ring. Ryan, what do you got?
Boom. Well, I'm going to be putting this episode up tonight, Wednesday, February 19th. So I do want to let people know, if you are watching or listening, I'm celebrating my 400th episode of the Somewhere in the Skies podcast.
Hey, holy
Oh,
cow.
yeah.
Wow.
And that's just main episodes. I think I'm up to like 600 with, I do a
easily.
live stream every week that I put on the
Right.
on podcast. I do bonus episodes, but this is going to be my 400th main episode of the podcast. So I'm celebrating in
Congratulations,
style.
man.
I'm going to be doing a live stream on February 20th, Thursday, February 20th. Again, if you're listening to this on Thursday, join us at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard on the Ryan Sprague YouTube channel. I have 3 podcasts joining me, Andrew. I have got
Wow.
High Strangeness, hosted by
Okay.
Steve Berg, brilliant comedian. You've seen him all over Drunk History, if you ever watched that show. He's been in a ton of movies. So Steve's going to be joining me. I've got Rob Christofferson of the Our Strange Skies podcast, good friend of mine. He's been with me through thick and thin through all 400 episodes. And then last but not least, I have my good buddy Jason McClellan, who hosts Jason, he hosts the UFO UAP WTF podcast. So
Amazing.
all 3 of these guys are going to be joining me for a podcast panel to celebrate my 400th episode. And we're just going to talk everything UFOs,
Cool.
past, present, future, and have fun, get weird, hang out with our live audience.
Right.
So if you want to be a part and ask us questions and comments, you can do that over on the Ryan Sprague YouTube channel on February 20th. And it'll remain there in perpetuity after that. So you can watch it at any time. So yeah, that's my immediate future. But everything I do is at somewhereintheskies.com and somewhereinthering.com as well.
Amazing. Bud, congratulations. That's really awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's been a hell of a ride, and I'm hoping for 400 more.
I remember being there all the way back in episode 9.
Andrew Sanford versus the Flying Saucers, a classic episode.
I guess I was not well liked. And look, it is what it is. I own it.
You've won it. You've won them over, man. We can't wait to have you back on the UFO show in the near future.
Hey, hit me up. I'm around. I'll ask you questions. That's what we'll do.
Tables will turn. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
All right.
Awesome. All right, guys. Catch us on all socials. Links are in the show notes. We'll be back next week. And yeah. Shall we ring that bell?
Ring it, baby.
Let's do it. We're going to do it post-production again. And, oh, wait, hold on. What the heck is that?
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick this sorry ass out on the street.